Welcome everyone, today we have a new guide video for Honkai starrail. So in this video, I have written a lot of notes and also comparisons for different free 5-star characters that will become available in the game. And we'll be going through all of those characters and also our tier list. So in order to provide you guys with more information, I want to show you guys the skills and also passives and also how the characters operate within the game. And also what are the roles for the characters, which including supporting roles, controlling roles, and also damage dealing roles. And we'll be looking at which of the best free 5-star characters you'll be selecting within the game after the launch of the game. And this is actually quite interesting, because you can be going for healers, support characters, and also different elemental damage characters of your choice. So coming over to a note over here. As you guys might have known, and if you guys didn't know, there is a special feature within Honkai starrail. And this is the guaranteed 5-star characters after 300 summons on the standard banner. Now I know that this is actually a lot of summons, which we'll talk about at the last part of the video. You may be getting a few of those characters before you get to 300 summons. You probably get at least 3 or 4 of them before 300. And this video will help you to guide understanding all of those 5-star characters which is available on the standard banner, and also which of the characters will be your choice of free characters to be selected once you have 300 summons. Now in the future videos, we'll look into how to get more summons within the game free to play, and how you can get to 300 summons maybe in a week or 2, and this way you can get a faster start with your game. So coming over to my tier list, and over here I wanted to present all the 7 characters that are available within the game to show you guys in the form of a tier list. So right away you can see we have 2 S tier characters, 3 A tier characters, 1 B tier healer, and also 1 C tier kind of tank. So the character roles are kind of diversifying way where I place them. And the 2 top characters for me are Himiko and also Yanqi. So those are the 2 fire and also ice damage dealing characters. And those are really prioritized by me in terms of the start of the game. Now we also have supporting characters like Walt over here, which I'll explain as we go through the video. So in order to give you guys a better summary, which will come back to this tier list at the end of the video as well, let's come over here for the summaries of each characters so you understand the characters a little bit more, and we'll go through them in details. Now Himiko is a fire unit that is going to be one of the strongest AoE damage dealer within the start of the game. She can be seen like a lady that look if you know Genshin Impact. Now I have given her a rank of 9.5 out of 10, and this is quite high ranking. The reason we go with Himiko is that she has great single target and also AoE damage in terms of fire damage. And additionally, Himiko works very well with a free 4-star fire unit Asta, which provides her with boost of fire attack. And this allows her to be one of the starter 5-stars that you can really enjoy to clear out a lot of content. And because during the launch of the game, likely it will be focusing on 1 or 2 characters to get to the maximum level with the best weapons, Himiko is definitely one of the top choices that we can go with. And this is why she is one of the top DPS characters I want to go with if I'm going for rerolling for the 5 stars. Now the next character we have is going to be Walt. Walt is one of the only imaginary character in the closed beta. And there isn't any 4-star imaginary unit as well. So he is the only 5-star imaginary unit as well. Now Walt is a crowd control AoE nuker. So what that means is Walt can disable enemies and slowing their speed, which allows your unit to act faster and multiple times. And Walt also deals a pretty sizable AoE damage as he controls enemies. So currently in the meta and also in the team composition for the game, Walt is considered to be a very strong support, which enable your other characters to actually do more work, because they get to act faster and they take less damage, because enemies will act slower because of his imprisonment ultimate, which is very strong. Now if you do want to read in those skills in more details, I'll have my notes available for you guys in the description below. Now for Walt, I have ranked him 9 out of 10, and this again is a quite high rank for me, and you can see that he can be the S- tier over here for me, and just simply he is well-rounded in all teams. You want to be control enemies, you want to give your team extra turns and take less damage. And the only downside with Walt is that some of the bosses have been reported to be immune to his ultimate, which is imprisonment. Now if we come over here to the imprisonment, this allows him to reduce the enemy's action speed by up to 44%, which is very powerful. Now coming over to our next character, which is Bonya. Bonnia is ranked by me from 8.5 up to 10 out of 10. Now there's a really good reason behind this. Bonnia is considered to be one of the greatest support at the launch of the game, because her first skill, which allows us to dispel a single ally, advance them to 100% action, which gives them extra 10 pretty much at the start of the round, even though they can be slow, and this also increases the damage by up to 90% for one turn. So Bonnia is going to be a speed kind of support that enable your slow allies to act at the start of the turn. And then this actually allows her to buff allies afterwards, which provide them with her ultimate up to increase 72% attack and also increase critical damage and also bonus critical damage. So right away you can see that she is a very powerful support that will be enabling any of the DPS in the party. Now her weaker side is that if you do not have a great 5-star DPS, then she can't really enable you to be even stronger. She is great all-round character, but she really wants at least one 5-star DPS, which we have seen over here. You can go with a fire DPS or you can go with ice DPS. And in that regards, that's why I rank her a little lowly at the start of the game, because we might not have all the 5 stars. But as you get more 5 stars, she is definitely going to be one of the strongest supporting character in the endgame. And if you're selecting one of the free 5 stars, and if you don't have her by 300 summons, she is gonna be a very good candidate. Now our next character of focus is Gampet. Gampet is a somewhat standard or average ice tank. He provides the allies with AoE shield, which is scaling on his base defense. And his normal skills also have a single chance of freezing one enemy up to 65%. So Gampet is, how should I say it, he's not the best 5 stars, but if you do get him, it's like, oh, what do I do, right? So currently his rank for me is one of the lowest within the 5 stars, because he doesn't stand out. And as for tank, we have a better tank that counters enemies. As for, shielding character, he is great. But notice that his shielding capacity is based on his defense, while his attacks are also scaling with attack. So you can't really just build him for defense and he lacks damage. But if you base him on attack, then he's gonna lack the shielding capacity. So he's a little awkward at the moment in the beta, and maybe at the launch he can get a buff, or likely he's gonna be one of the characters that you use because you just happen to have a 5-star. So you can see over here in the tier list, he is the rank C character for me for 5 stars. Now on the topic of a tank that also retaliate, we have Clara. Clara currently is ranked 8.5 by me in the current meta of the game, but we can definitely rank her higher, maybe 9 or even 9.5. She's a very interesting physical destruction character that focuses on countering enemies when they attack you. So if we come over to Clara, you can see a lot of her abilities will deal physical damage, and she will deal additional damage when enemies are debuffed by her counter and also, her counter abilities. She is very good at attacking enemies that deals damage directly to you. Now Clara also have a higher chance of being attacked compared to your other allies because her passives. And she also provides herself with a lot of damage reduction. So right away you can see she can be offensive, she can be defensive, and she can be protecting allies when she's taking all the damage, right, with the damage reduction. The only downside I can see with Clara is that her crowd control, countering effects is not that great. Once Clara is controlled, maybe frozen, she cannot be countering enemies. And similarly, if Clara is debuffed with a lot of damage over time, she does not counter. The only way she counters is being attacked directly, so this is her only downside. But against hordes of enemies, Clara can be very powerful, because most of the enemies' AI is designed to hit one target or maybe multiple targets, and this is when Clara shines. Now coming over to my second S tier unit, which is going to be Yanqing. Yanqing is considered to be the Ice King in the beta, and Yanqing is an Ice Hunt unit with the highest single target DPS. Now you can see there's additional notes with Yanqing, and I over here even provided his passives to give you guys more details. So if you have a quick look at his skills and also passives, he'll provide himself with additional damage and also Soul Link, increased critical damage, increased critical rate. And over here he will be gaining increased critical rate, additional damage when he is not taking damage. And also he'll be dealing even more damage when enemy has high HP than him. So right away you can see that he can go in with a lot of damage, a lot of attack, lots of crits, and lots of critical damage. Now because Yanqing deals additional damage when he avoids taking damage, this is what we said earlier with Vault and other characters that can imprison or slow enemies' actions. And when enemies' actions are slowed, you can get more turns with Yanqing and also avoid taking damages. Because if enemies doesn't act, they can't deal damage to you, right? And similarly, Yanqing can go with shielding support, which allows him to not take damage and provide him with additional damage because, he's not taking damage, right? Now, Yanqing also has passive abilities which allows him to be less likely to be targeted by enemies. But of course, when it comes to AoE damage, he can still take damage. Yanqing also have a certain chance of following up with this attack. So if we come over to the passives, we can see that Yanqing have an up to 65% fixed chance of performing a following attack, which deals ice damage and also have a fixed chance 65% of freezing enemies. So Yanqing is likely gonna be the best single target DPS in the game, and this is why I rank him as 9.5 out of 10. Now, if you're building your characters and also classes, and if you find yourself missing ice damage by the time you're selecting a free 5-star, he is definitely going to be a very good choice in terms of overall damage and also overall scaling for the endgame, especially with some really good support. We can be giving him extra turns with Brilliant, we can be giving him imprisonment with Welt, and also we can be providing him with shield with Gampet. So Yanqing is definitely going to be a very, very powerful character that works well with most of the characters. Now, our final 5-star character is gonna be the only 5-star lightning healer in the game at the start of the launch, and this will be Bailu. He is basically a 5-star barber, right? If you guys play Genshin Impact. Now, the only other healer in the game at the start of the launch is gonna be a 4-star character named Natasha, and she is a free-to-play free character that is provided by the game. Of course, we know the 5 stars are better, right guys? So with Bailu, her ability scales off her maximum HP, and it's very straightforward to build her. She gains additional randomness of healing with additional target, and also she is great for keeping everyone alive, of course. Her passive ability allows her to heal allies when they take damage, and again, this is direct damage. This is not damage over time. And you can see some of her abilities over here, which allows her to heal multiple targets and also to heal all the allies over time. Combined with her passive ability to heal when allies take damage, she is very powerful and very good in most of the team. Because you want a healing support, you want one DPS character at least, you want a controlling or damage enabling support, and then this builds your team very well run. So if you're missing one healer by the time you have 300 summons, Bailu is definitely gonna be a very good character of choice. And likely she won't retire for a long time, because usually you get different DPS, you get different support. But in terms of healers, they do the same thing, right? They will heal you based on a maximum HP or based on different scaling. So coming back to a tier list, now that we had a look at all the characters, you can see why I rank the characters, the way they are. And what I'm thinking is, by the time I have 300 summons, if I'm missing a DPS character, I'll go with a top S tier DPS with the fire or the ice DPS. But if I'm missing a controller or support, I can go with Welt, I can go with Bonia, and this can be very good. Now, before we finish, I also want to touch up on the availability of those characters. So I have seen a screenshot where the player was reported to have gotten at least 1 to 3 of the 5-star standard characters by the time they reach half of the 300 counters. So do keep in mind guys, maybe you have multiples of those characters. And once you have multiples of those characters, we can look into the constellation and also resonance for their passives, which makes them even stronger. We'll make this in another video, of course. Now before you go, and if you guys didn't know, we have a new YouTube channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and check out the behind the scenes and also fun clips and also more stories about us. And then you get to know me a little more personally instead of just reading the news and also the games, right? So I want to share a little bit more with you guys. So make sure you check this channel out if you're interested about Matt and also Uni. She's really funny too, and she's really shy. So I want to give her a surprise and do a shout out for the new channel to get some subscribers. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time.